Okay, everybody's here. Everybody ready to go? All right, then we're going to go ahead and come back into session for our briefing for the Mason County Commission week of February 26th, and we're going to move on over to the sheriff's office under Sheriff Adams. Welcome. And I see the sheriff in a little circle back behind you there.
Good morning, Commissioners. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for having us on here. Hopefully you had time to peruse the briefing document that I provided last week. But just as a recap to that document, as I know all three commissioners are aware, Charlie's vision has been over the past year actively involved in fundraising to raise enough money to get a command vehicle for the Mason County Sheriff's Office to use for various operations. And over the last year, they were tireless in their efforts, going out to every community event and sponsoring fundraisers and doing other things to raise funds. And between the citizens of Mason County and a few outside sources, they raised in the neighborhood of about $50,000 and were able to acquire a purpose-built command vehicle from Canada that they had shipped down and then donated to the sheriff's office earlier this month. As you all know, vehicles that we purchase don't come with all the necessary equipment to actually make them functional for law enforcement purposes. Although this one was purpose-built for command posts, it didn't come with any of the equipment that we need to actually effectively run command post operations. So I had asked Lieutenant Severance to put together a list of equipment that was needed in order to finish this vehicle out and make it purpose built for pretty much any type of operation that we may have, from SWAT team command post to a search and rescue operations center to a ICS pre-planned event command post and any other thing that we could envision. He's put together a pretty comprehensive list. I have him on here if you have any questions about the stuff that's on the list. But we had been asked during this process to come to the commission when the community had shown enough support for this project to actually get a vehicle, and to come talk to the commission about what the county could do to finish out putting this vehicle together. So the list of equipment that Lieutenant Severance put together totals about $120,000. And that would completely finish out the vehicle and get it up and running so that we can run command post operations. So we do have other donors in the county who are willing to put some money into finishing off this vehicle, depending on how much money the county wants to put into some of this equipment list. However, I will say that just kind of on a monetary note, the commission last year had agreed to buy us one of the detection devices for narcotics that Thurston County was putting together. And Thurston County has since purchased that item, which was about $90,000. Our jail folks have been in communication with Thurston County and had discussions with them about that item. And Thurston County has discovered that it really isn't all that it was cracked up and sold to be. And they have recommended, and I think we concur, that we probably don't want the county to purchase that item. So that's about $90,000 that we're not going to be asking you to spend that you had agreed to previously. And so I'm just throwing that out there so that you can factor that into your deliberations. But we just want to reiterate that the Board of County Commissioners has been super supportive of us and our equipment needs in recent years. And we would just like you to deliberate about what you might be willing to do for this vehicle, and anything that you do, we will certainly be grateful for and find any way to finish it out after that.
Thank you, Travis. Hey, on that, I appreciate the fact that you went out and, I was one that was very gung ho for getting that tool. But if it's not proper and it's not what we need, then we're better off not wasting the money and spending the money. I do know that you're still working on having a drug dog that would be specific to be able to work with that. Hopefully, you're still moving forward in that direction.
Oh yeah, we have the dog and the dog's well into training and that process is still underway for sure.
Deal. I'd like to ask Trevor, if you don't mind. Trevor, one of the things that I think it was you that discussed it with me. I know it was you that discussed it with me. One of the important aspects that I see on this list that I know is absolutely needed for our county and our community, if we were to have a really, really big issue, is the multi-band radio. Could you explain that to the other commissioners in case they are not aware?
So I'm doing a lot of research to try to maximize our ability to have interoperable communications with anybody in our county or in our region that we may need to. One of our longstanding issues is our public safety radio system is based on the UHF frequency band. The rest of the civilized world uses VHF. So when our deputies get out of the car, their portable radios cannot talk to, let's say, State Patrol or Shelton can talk, the tribes can talk, but any other law enforcement agency or even fire, we cannot communicate on our portable radio. The multi-band radio systems, you can build them for high band, or sorry, UHF, VHF, low band, and 800 megahertz out of one radio system. And having multiple of those systems in this vehicle tied together with the system that we mentioned there about it for interoperability, what allows you to do is basically you have a computer server that you can pick A frequency, B frequency, C frequency, stick them all in one folder, and then communicate across all of those bands, all of those frequency ranges with one click of the button from that truck. So anybody who's on scene can use the equipment they already have to be able to communicate effectively as a team. Right now, if we had them, we would hand out extra radios, but those are expensive. Or we assign let's say a trooper with a deputy, so we could talk across both radios. This would eliminate the ability to do that. And the lion's share of our request happens to be creating a base of communications for multi-role situations, SWAT, SAR, as the Undersheriff mentioned, being able to communicate back and forth and include Starlink so we can actually communicate back to the rest of the world when we're in remote locations and cellular and radio communications are not working.
Thank you. So, commissioners, for myself, between the 90,000 and I do know if we wanted to do things with ARPA monies again, there are some coming through, but I think we have it as a one-time expense, the ability to do it. I would be supportive of moving forward with the full amount, but how would that look, Travis? How would you like it brought through the commission if you were to use the 90,000 for the other? How would you like that brought forward to where we're giving an additional basically 30,000 and you allowing you to utilize the other funds for this?
Right. To the best of my knowledge, we did not have $90,000 put in our budget for this year for that item. We were going to come back when we had finished all the research. So it would be a one-time transfer of 120 when we did the next transfer. We would take care of it out of our budget at this point and just wait till the mid-year, just like we normally do.
Mark, if we decide to move forward with this, would you just double check all that, make sure we're good on there was no monies included, so that we don't double dip accidentally. So with that, then I guess I'm saying that I'm supportive of the full 120. I think these are extremely important. The things that he's put forward. Another thing that I really worried about when I was on that vehicle, which, by the way, thank you, Charlie's Vision. It is absolutely phenomenal what you brought forward to this community, and you will give them an opportunity to deal with just about anything that comes up. It was pretty spectacular. But there was also a vehicle monitoring system to be able to monitor when you're inside a box, see everything that's going around. Mark, go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner. I believe that John Taylor out of DEM actually has some potential funds. I think it was around 16,000 talking with Diane. I didn't see John on here, so can't ask him. And then quick question for you. Mr. Severance, about the Starlink communication systems. I know we actually have one out at DM that we can check out when individuals go out in the field. Is that the same one that you have listed in here? And is that just a setup amount, or is there a monthly cost that comes with that also?
That is just the setup amount. That is the equipment purchase, and that is not the one that DEM owns. To check out, the checkout process is awful difficult for us after hours when nobody's around, and to save John and his folks having to come in after hours when they're already pretty short staffed. I felt it prudent just to have one available 24/7, and when we need it. I know that I've talked to Bob Burbridge about how he's got it manipulated to turn on and turn off the subscription to save money monthly when we're not using it. However, like I said, it's just real difficult to get one signed out from DEM.
Well, then let's look at that, because I think that was the intention of purchasing it, right? Was to provide it for specifically these instances, like we're not when we go out and do search and rescue, and when we don't have good connectivity. I think that's why they purchased it. I thought that they had a process in place that it was accessible and did not require DEM staff to come in. But let's check some of those details out.
They do have a process in place, and it's a matter of us coming in, getting access to their facility up at Public Works, going in, getting it, dragging it out, putting it on the truck and everything. And for the cost that was associated with it, like I said, I felt it was more prudent just to have one built onto the truck and ready to go at all times.
Yeah,
Did John talk to you at all about the 16,000-ish?
Yes, I did apply. Actually turned out to be 14,000
Okay.
for that grant, and I have not heard back of whether or not we got it. I kind of like to keep all my irons in the fire until I can figure out how I'm going to make this stuff happen. So there is a potential of Homeland Security grant money for that to the tune of 14,000, but I don't have the hot money in my hot little hands yet, so I wasn't counting on it.
And I would just throw out there, commissioners, that if we agreed that you were going to pay for those items and that grant came in, we would just make sure that you knew that before the mid-year transfer, and we would take that off the amount that you would transfer. So that would be how I would handle that.
And I want to point out, Mark, as for myself, I would much rather, when you're in an emergency situation, running around trying to find a piece to get back and get on that truck doesn't seem realistic to me when the price is what it is. I would rather see that tool on the truck at all times for what it is needed to be used.
Can we see if we can just put it on there and take it out of there? Because I think that was the purpose it was purchased for. So,
but wouldn't it be nice?
Maybe we could just actually take the one that was purchased by DEM and put it on the rig.
That'd be a great conversation to have with Dr. Taylor, and I'm willing to do that.
All right.
But at the same time, wasn't that thing meant so that it could be used by other things? Like this is when the command vehicle goes out, may not be for everything we're doing.
Yeah, I'd love to have those conversations, because I think in a major disaster, this command vehicle may be the point of contact that they're operating out of, and so maybe that is a part of the EOC's response process. So I'd love to sit down and have some of those conversations. It's just, I mean, Starlink's great, I love it, but I do know that there is a cost of $100 a month or something on top of that. So if there's a way to turn it on and turn it off where we don't have to pay that, that's even better. I just wasn't aware of it.
Commissioners, Commissioner Trask or Shooty?
I'll jump in. So I know that we had Starlink at our house, and it was $150 a month. That's what we paid. So if we could get the cost down or something like that, that would be great. And then also there's got to be grants out there that we're not thinking of here. So like for the radios, I fully support this vehicle, but I want to make sure that we're being prudent with our monies, and maybe working with MACECOM as far as the radios go. It's important to have the multiband, absolutely, but there's got to be things that we're not thinking about that we could use. So So maybe what I'm saying is let's bring this back for further discussion after we find out if you get that grant, that would be great. Let's look at Starlink. Some of my neighbors, including and myself, we just got fiber and we had Starlink. So maybe you could ask for donations for the Starlink setup. So you wouldn't have to purchase that. If you don't mind, let's dig into it a little bit more. I did talk to Jen also, and there are ARPA funds available, but I also want to make sure that we're using other resources that we have. So maybe I don't feel comfortable moving forward at this point. I just want to make sure that we have everything. If there's resources out there, let's reach out to them.
So can I roll up what I think I'm hearing? Maybe we take this, and Commissioner Shooting will have other things, but I'm just trying to go for what I think I hear you saying. So we take this and we bring it back in a couple of weeks after we've looked into what we can do through grants, what we can maybe do through some other private enterprise in order to fulfill this list, and then bring it back at that time for a final decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might take more than a couple of weeks. How soon do you need the money? Let me ask that first.
Well, I mean, that's just a question of how soon do you want the vehicle to be operational? I mean, we can spend as much time as we'd like doing research and doing the build and everything else, but the question is, how soon do you want the vehicle to be up and operational? So, either right now or 6 months from now. I don't know the answer to that specifically.
Okay.
I do have a question about the Starlink. I'm a little concerned about the turn on, turn off idea of a subscription service for that small amount of money, especially for emergency operation issues. I mean, if it's as easy as turning it on and flipping a switch and saying we're now subscribed, I think that's just fine. But if there's some process that we have to go to turn subscriptions on and off, that's very, very contrary to effective emergency operations. So I just want to throw that out there. It's not really much of a cost savings if it's going to be that detrimental to emergency operations.
Commissioner Shooty.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate the discussion this morning. I'm good to wait until we have a little bit further discussion on this. I'm interested in particular on the MACECOM side of this as a board member, and just sort of understanding a little bit more the radio side of things, Lieutenant Severance, and maybe having a little bit more discussion on that from the interoperability perspective. And I know they can link those things up in the dispatch center, but I'd like to, in addition to the financial conversation, have a little bit more discussion around sort of the operational side of things. I mean, this is a good problem for us to have. We haven't had a vehicle like this probably in forever, or a very, very long time. So let's, make sure we get everything dialed in the right way and all the appropriate partners are involved.
So, in your opinion, what would that look like? What we discussed with Commissioner Trask, do you have a timeline that you'd like to see and have a few questions answered?
Well, we have a board meeting coming up here in a couple of weeks for MACECOM. So, I mean, if we wanted to talk about it then, that's fine. I mean, I'm happy to make myself available for the sheriff's office as well for that. So
then do you think we can bring back in 3 weeks at that time with a finished product for the request?
Can we make sure it's after March 21st?
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Sorry. My apologies, Commissioner. So Commissioner Shooty, after March 21st, whatever that briefing is at that point.
Sure.
Okay, so let's go ahead and Mark, if you wouldn't mind working with him to find out those questions and get a few of those things answered, and we'll bring it back on the first briefing after March 21st with the dialed in amounts and the ideas of how much we'll get from grants, and if there's any other possibilities, and a reminder that if we decide to do this, they'll be working within their own monies, and how we pay for it will come up at the time we move things around during budget amendments. So is that understandable to the sheriff's department? Do they understand what we're asking?
I think so. Thank you.
Mhm. All right, thank you to you guys. You have anything else for us, Undersheriff?
No, I don't think we do today, but I appreciate your time.
And commissioners, do you have anything for the sheriff, Undersheriff, or Trevor?
I don't.
All right, thank you guys. Be safe out there. Go home safe to your family after you're done.
Yep, thanks, sir.
Bye. Okay. So next up, we have, hold on. She's like this before Public Works. Okay, so, hold on for 1 second, Loretta.
Okay.
Commissioners, I was handed something, a briefing, item that was not put into the packet. It is, on, a press release for the on-site sewage advisory committee vacancy. Ian is asked to be placed in the middle of these two. If there's no objection, I'm gonna invite him on. Here, no objection. Ian, take it away.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This is a press release. We have 3 vacancies on the on-site sewage advisory committee. It's 2 citizen positions and 1 designer position. And this is just a request to put the press release into the March 12th action agenda.
Does anybody have any issue with that?
No issue with me.
Nope, I like it.
Okay, Ian, go ahead and put it on there. We'll see you then.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, next up, we're gonna go to Public Works, Loretta.
All right. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm going to hand it off to Joy, who has 2 requests to set hearings for road vacations.
How about now?
There you go. Perfect, Lovejoy. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, we have 2 petitions for road vacations. They are very similar and have the same petitioners on portions of them. We've got 417, it's regarding alleys in Allen. All of them have been basically vacated by operation of law. We don't have any record of the alleys ever being open within that 5-year time frame, starting in 1889, and they are not maintained. And they are requesting a hearing for April 24th of 2024. These roads, since they're Class C, there's no compensation. And that's for 417, which are alleys in the plat of Allen. Like I said, it's already been vacated by operation of law. Number 418, same thing, the petitioners, all of the petitioners are requesting vacation of Fife Street and an alley in the plat of Allen. And it's the same thing as far as dedicated in 1889. It's vacated by operation of law. They're not being maintained. And again, it's a Class C, no other compensation, and they are requesting a hearing date of April 24th, 2024.
Just a reminder for past precedents, though, we do not vacate on these. We just have no objection to the vacation because they've already been vacated.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Just a formal vacation of them, acknowledging that it's already done.
Commissioners, what do you think?
Sounds good to me.
I'm supportive as well.
As am I.
Thank you.
Lovejoy.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioners, I think my briefing sheet that I submitted was not the one that made it into the packet. I do have just a couple of quick discussion items, if that's okay.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, the first is just a quickie on an update, a legislature update. And we do see $240,000 for the utility relocation for North Bay, the Victor project, the fish barrier, and also we think is 103,000 for the Beards Cove replacement there at Larson and Larson Lake Boulevard. So we'll see how that plays out. And then nothing so far for the planning and design work for the Belfair plant expansion. So I just wanted to alert you on those two items, and we'll see how it ends up.
Okay, do you have anything else for us?
Just that I owe you a draft letter for Republic Services, so that'll be on my hot little agenda this week, and we'll get that prepared for you to take a look at and add your thoughts as well.
You know, it's funny, I was just doing an Orca meeting, and as we're moving away from that direction, other areas and Thurston and them are moving towards that direction. So it was an interesting long conversation in regards to them. And I let them know all the good things that Republic did with us for the years that they're with us to help them with their decisions. And okay, does anybody have anything for Loretta?
Yeah, I've like maybe one thing for Loretta and one thing for Mark related to this. So I'll start with the thing for Mark and Loretta. So I think it would be great if we could just also, while we're drafting the letter to Republic, to also draft be prepared to have a letter from us to our legislative delegation for the funding that we received, to have that ready to go for March 12th commission meeting. There's still a lot of time left in session, and things could go one way or another, but assuming some of that funding holds, it would be great to have a letter ready to go to them immediately after session. And looks like the 12th is the first day that would be able to work with our schedule. Number one. Number two, the other issue, I was out at the Sheriff's Breakfast at Spencer Lake a couple of weeks ago, and I had a conversation with a few people afterwards about looking at improving the crossing there between the parking lot and the tavern.
Yes.
From a pedestrian perspective. So maybe some lighted beacons for a crosswalk or something along those lines. And so if there's no objections from the commission, I'd like to have you guys bring back some options for us on that. Maybe partner with Larry over at the tavern to do that. But it is surprising how fast people clip through there and that kind of thing.
Well, oddly, Commissioner Schutte, we actually asked for that like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So yes, please bring us something forward. Remember when we were doing the speed checks, we recognized at that point that there was an issue at that crossing that we were going to address, but somehow I think it got left out. So yeah, let's bring it back. I think we had talked about solar push buttons at the
We
time.
put some lighting up, I believe, is what we did at the time, commissioners. But yes, absolutely.
And the other problem was if we put a pole there, or not a pole, a flashing beacon, it was right in their parking area,
Right.
and the dangers of that were increased. So I don't know how that would be addressed, but yeah, if we can look at that and bring it forward, please.
Absolutely. The Safe Walk and Roll grant call for projects, preliminary call for projects was just announced. So this might be a good matchup for that program as well. So yes, happy to do that.
Commissioner Trask?
Oh, sorry,
ahead.
just one more thing, as I was thinking during that conversation. So similar vein, so Island Lake, just want to revisit some options there for some traffic calming and things like that as well for pedestrians around the lake. This is one of those things that, you know, as we head into the springtime, people are going to be out and about a little bit more. And so we're going to hear about it a little bit more. So you can work on the engagement out there with the community and then maybe some options for us to consider. I think that'd be super helpful too. So thank you.
Yeah, I know that is on Mike and Dave's list. So we'll make sure it bumps up on the list.
Commissioner Trask, do you have anything?
I don't have anything right now, but Loretta, after I get back, let's go on another road trip.
Okay. Sounds good.
I've got two little things. One, thank you for the parking and was looking for another update soon on the lighting for Victor. And Mark, there was I don't want to say a promise, but there was a agreement or the idea and words were said that you would take a drive along with Ron LaRue. I had just saw him the other day, and he was mentioning that we still haven't been there. So if you don't mind, could you take a little bit of time and go visit him and take that right around North Mason?
Absolutely. I was with Loretta the other day when we were heading up to the opening for our North Mason Sheriff's Office, and we ran into Rod, and he's definitely still something I need to do. So I will do that.
If you're lucky enough to go on a snow day, you will have a roller coaster ride you will not forget.
Hopefully that's not until that part of it isn't until next year.
Exactly.
I don't know. I have a friend that when she puts on her answering machine, happy spring, that means it's going to snow. So I'm waiting. All right. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Loretta.
Thank you, commissioners.
So next up is support services, Mark Neary.
Yeah, we got Jen to give us a financial report.
Good morning, commissioners. I'm going to share my screen for the January financials. Okay, there we go. So starting with the current expense revenue, we have received through January of 2024, 2,457,000. Last year we had received 2,833,000. We're at 6% of our budgeted revenue in current expense compared with 7% last year. Last year, the major difference was in non-departmental. We had received the LATCF funds of approximately 400,000 in January. So you can see there that this year we've only received 180,000 compared to last year we had received about 757,000. So that's where the major difference is. In the treasurer's detailed revenue, we've received about 1,455,000 this year compared with last year 1,410,000. We're at 5% of our budgeted revenue in the treasurer's office compared to 5% last year. So looking very consistent there. We had a little bit more interest income this year compared to last, which makes sense since interest rates are up from last year. So we received about 228,000 this year compared to about 161,000 last year. And moving on to the current expense expenditures, we have expended approximately 3,865,000 this year compared to 3,923,000 last year. We're at 7% of our budget this year compared to 8% expended last year. So things are looking good there on the expenditures. We have a few departments that are over their benchmark for January, and that's normal for like the assessor's office, they're at 13%, and then the treasurer's office, they're at 14%, and that's mainly due to a large payment that they have due in January. The special fund 6-year recap. So in community development revenue, we've received approximately 292,000. That's up over the previous 5 years. And the sales tax, which we'll go over in more detail in a moment, is a little bit down compared to last year, but still up over the previous 4 years. That's about 739,000. Filings are 40,400. That's pretty consistent with last year at this time, about 38,000. REIT is up over last year. We're at about 99,000. This year, last year at this time, we were about 61,000. So that's good. County sales tax We have received 739,000 roughly this year in January compared to last year. We were at 762,000. So we're a little bit shy of last year, about 23,000, but nothing to be alarmed at. We're looking at a projected end of year revenue of about 9.5 million, maybe a little bit less than that if the trend continues. And we've budgeted 9.2 million.
Before you move from there, can you go up on that screen a little bit? Because I was talking with somebody else about we've gone backwards from our anticipated amounts for several months in a row. So this will make us 4 months in a row
Yes.
that we've gone back. So I just want to make note of that for the other commissioners to see it as well. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, here's October, November, and December of last year. We were down about 141,000 roughly compared to the previous year's collections. On the 6-year financial recap, we ended the year, or we didn't end the year, we ended the month at about 26,118,000 in cash in the general fund. And again, here's our recap of the revenue and the expense. We were at 6% of our budgeted revenue in January of 24, which is very consistent with the previous 5 years. We were at,
on the top of that one, under current expense, general fund operating reserves, how is it possible that 23 and 24 exact?
Yeah, that needs to be updated. I'll do that next month. It just got missed this month. And then we're at 7% of our budgeted expenditures again. The cash balances in the special and other funds, we're at 59,042,880, which is up over the previous 5 years. So that looks good there overall. Our ARPA funds, are going down a little bit, which is good. We're getting those expended. We're at about 4.5 million at the end of January. Right now, Belfair is flush with cash, I believe, from some billings that they did maybe at the end of the year that came in January. I'm not positive about that. The motor pool summary. So we have budgeted in 2024 $1,935,000, and we've only expended about 43,000. So January was a pretty small month for expenditures. We'll be seeing more as vehicles come in and things like that. The special fund revenue, we have received in January 6,580,000 roughly, compared to this time last year we had received about 3,441,000. So we're at 11% of our budgeted revenue in the special funds, and 6% compared to 6% last year.
I just put my pages away. Can you go sideways? I want to see where we're at right now, sitting on the LTAC. Sideways.
Sideways.
Yeah, so I can see the last column. Uncollected revenue, and that's okay. I'll just pull it out of my book again. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Okay, for LTAC. Okay, we can go over that later.
Yeah, I got it. Go ahead.
The special fund expenditures, we have expended this year 2,950,139 compared to last year 4,153,423. We're at 4% of our budgeted expenditures compared to last year 5%. So any Any other questions or comments on this? And I did add a sheet. It's not included in your packet, but I'll start including this every month. The county debt, I received the amount from the treasurer's office. We have 16,550,000 in outstanding county debt at the end of January. And here's the balances of all of the different bonds or loans. And then I added the information that shows the origination year, original loan amount, which fund pays that county debt, and then the balance and maturity date. So I'll email this to you, commissioners, and then we'll include it in the packet each month if you think that this is something we want to see.
Well, thank you. I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Great. Well, thank you. That's all that I have.
Just a little side note on it. It's although it looks like there's not a lot going on because it's such early in the year, I want to remind you that some years back this was an exciting and scary month, because before we did the cash basis, we had the 13th month, and we had a great realization of what just happened in that 13th month that would leave us sitting in our chairs squirming a little bit. So we're in great positions now compared to where we were back in those days. And if you weren't here, actually, the 13th month, that's where we seem to pay for all our sins for the year before in January. That's my opinion of how it worked. Okay, with that, what else you got?
That's all I have. I believe it's back to you, Mark.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks, Jen. Mary, want to jump into HR list?
Good morning. Back with the Mason County comparable counties, and I have a proposed resolution attached to my briefing packet. However, I do think that after further discussion and some really good collaboration with our bargaining partners, we need to come back to you with a little bit of tweaking to this language. And so I would like to have it removed from the agenda tomorrow if possible, and then come back to you with some different language that I think is a little bit more effective.
Okay, Mackenzie, Diane, please have it removed from the agenda tomorrow, please.
Wow, so we're removing instead of adding?
It's still the same work.
Oh, well, it's a swap. I'll add something else.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if that makes it better or worse for me. I'm not in trouble. So the second item I have is the commissioners had asked that chapter 5.13 career incentive policy come out of the personnel policy. So I have the resolution attached to be moved forward for tomorrow if possible. And I can be updated. I didn't put the whole thing in there, just the policy. So that was good. You didn't have to look at all 1,000,000 pages. So, and that's attached to my
Is it
briefing.
already on the agenda, or you need it added onto the agenda?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I believe it's already on the agenda.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's great. And the other item I have, and I think Winter's in a meeting, is the, we had discussed the recruitment bonus of $5,000 for the Public Works Waste Manager position, and advised that a resolution needed to come forward in order to get that done. So that is attached. And again, the parameters around this, I think we're starting to hone in on a little bit of vacancy over about a year is what we've been consistent with. And then the 2,500 and 2,500 installments based on successful completion of a year of employment, and then 2,500 upon hire. So it's very consistent with other areas where we've been administering a recruitment bonus.
So Mark, I don't see that other one.
It's not. I just looked at it. It's not. You're right. So the career incentive is not on the agenda for tomorrow.
So the question is how important is it? Do you need it added on, or do you want to wait until the next meeting?
I'm sorry, did we back up to the policy?
Yes, we backed up. Yes.
Oh, okay. The policy, it's not an emergency. It can wait.
Okay.
The recruitment bonus, I don't know if that one's on there already. That one I'd like to move forward if possible. The faster we can move recruitment wise, the better for us.
I didn't see it on there either.
It's not.
Okay, so the one thing I do want to say is if we knew about this a week or so in advance, we need to have those out there a little earlier so we can get it on the agenda in a proper manner. But I have no problem with adding it on the agenda for expediency and because of the situation that they're dealing with. Commissioner Schutte, I see you're unmuted. You want to take it first?
We're adding this to the agenda tomorrow.
On whether to add it to the agenda, if you're okay with going forward with it, and if you want to add it to the agenda tomorrow or wait until the next regular meeting.
Yeah, I think we should do it tomorrow, and I think we could. I mean, if we're going to add this, I think we can add the CIP as well. And I just said, I'll say on the signing bonus. I mean, we did talk about it a couple of weeks ago, but I thought the direction was to bring it back to a briefing like this and not put it onto an agenda until we discussed it. So I felt like we were following that process. So, but I'm good moving those both onto the agenda tomorrow.
Okay. Commissioner Trask.
Yep, if we're adding one, deleting one, we can add another one. So add two, take one away.
Sounds about normal for us, yeah. Okay, Mark, what else you got? Or Mary?
I have nothing else for you this morning.
I think part of that is just trying to recognize that Commissioner Trask will be away a little bit in March, and I don't know what our meeting schedule is going to be like. So,
Yeah,
Mackenzie might make up for it a little bit in March with that.
now we pulled off on the 18th, right? The briefing. Okay.
Yep.
That's what I just did. Okay, what else you got, Mark?
I got your sales and use tax emergency communication update for you. So they certified the election, almost a 35% turnout, and 67.59% of the individuals that voted on the 911 tax voted yes to approve it. So that's great. This will add 0.2%. The sales tax to be added to our sales tax rate, we have to give DOR at least a 75 calendar day notice of change. So it looks like that would become effective on July 1 of 2024. So I'll be putting an approval of a resolution before the board for that 0.2% sales and use tax for emergency communication systems and facilities.
Is that time frame required after it passes or after we pass it as a resolution?
I believe it's just you can't call DOR and say, hey, put this on there tomorrow. Diane, did you have anything to add to that? Apparently not. Oh,
Here she comes. No, the
Yeah.
great Diane
No.
is coming.
No, I don't. It's like Mark says, they need that advance notice, so I would like it added to tomorrow, so that way Jen can get it over to DOR, so we don't miss any deadlines.
There you go. The Swami has spoken.
That would probably be much appreciated over at MaceCom as well.
Okay, we're all in agreement.
all right, we'll get
Thank
that
you.
before you guys. And the next item I have for you is just a reminder of the Mason County Citizens Commission on Salaries for elected officials. So our county auditor has been super busy going out there and doing his lot draw and recruiting people to become members on this committee or this commission. So he, I think, is up to the 6. I think he's gotten at least a preliminary acceptance of that assignment of 6 individuals, 2 from each district. Mr. Duncan, did you want to add to that, Steve?
That's correct. I got the last one over the weekend.
So we've got to, the board has the ability to assign some more. I believe, and Diane, correct me if I'm wrong, we've received 1 application for it. And so we need to do some more recruiting to find individuals. Would like to do interviews on March 4th to ensure that we meet the timelines that was included in that January 16th resolution establishing the commission. So really encourage individuals out in the community that if you're interested in being one of the appointed members to this board, that you come onto the website and you fill out an application, get it to us, and we can set up an interview with the commission. Commissioners or other elected officials that are on this call, I would recommend that you go out there and recruit individuals. So these individuals, basically, the requirement associated with them is that they have to have personnel experience. Managing people, if they have any experience with unions, that's always a positive. Setting salaries, those are some of the things that we'd be looking for in these members, or I believe that you would be looking for in these members. Just need to drum up some interest in that.
Thank you. Steve, go ahead. Oh, wait, excuse me, one. Commissioner, if you don't mind if I call on Steve since this is his project? Okay, Steve, please.
Hey, I just offered up a suggestion by email, and you guys probably get too much email as it is, but Kittitas County was able to recruit the party chairs from the Democratic Party and the Republican Party to be on their salary commission, and I floated that past you guys just as an idea. And Mark, I don't know if you had a chance to reach out to those folks or not, but I thought it was a good idea.
Now, how was it set up to do by districts and stuff too? There was different verbiage we were doing. How are we looking at it from that standpoint?
District requirements are the district requirements only apply to the people that I recruit through the random lottery process, 2 from each commissioner's district. For the people that the Board of County Commissioners appoints, that's up to you guys, and there's no limitation in terms of district residency.
And it's selected like we would for a regular citizen advisory board?
I'd like to bring them before the commission on the 4th of March to be interviewed. So we're really kind of getting to crunch time here, and we need to find four members.
Okay.
And we do have 2, Mark. I circulated one this morning that came in.
Oh, great. So we've got 2. I'd like you to have a choice, but
Yeah, I'd like to have 8 or 10 to choose from.
Smart. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if the commissioners are interested, I can definitely reach out to our party chairs and see if they would be interested in serving on this commission.
So I'm not real high on that idea. I would rather have this be as nonpartisan as possible. That, and they would also have to fall under the having personnel management experience. So
Correct.
I don't know, but I would like to keep this a nonpartisan type commission.
Commissioner Trask?
I think it's wise to keep it nonpartisan. As you know, once you're an elected, it's you run as a member of a certain party, but once you're elected, you represent everybody. So I would love to keep it I don't know about you, but I get tired of politics. So if we can keep politics out of this, that would be awesome.
Okay, seems like we are set on that one.
Yeah,
What else?
so
you got?
I would just recommend, Commissioner, that the auditor, the assessor, the clerk, the coroner, the sheriff, the treasurer, this commission will set your salary. So go out there and do some recruiting and find some individuals that would like to serve on this committee. Have them fill out an application, and I can get them before the commission to be interviewed on March 4th.
Thank you. We will go forth.
You
What
can't-
else you got?
You
Go
can't
ahead.
have you can't have an immediate family member that works for the county, correct?
Correct. That is
Yeah.
correct.
So,
Which
so
might
you
be tough.
can't go get your your brother to sign up for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can't appoint Kelly Frazier to the salary commission
Yeah.
because
You
he's an
know, you do.
employee and he's related to an like. Yes.
He's probably relieved to hear you say that.
Yeah.
He probably is.
All right. What else you got, Mark?
I got a email from our lobbyist over the weekend. The legislature has put forward a bill to the governor, Senate House Bill 2296. This is a specific bill that adds a 6-month extension to our comprehensive plan required date of implementation or approval. And so this would be it would give us a 6-month extension on that due date. And she is hearing and a lot of interest out there in the community that the counties are going to be writing letters to the governor encouraging him to sign the bill. And so I was wondering if the commission would be interested in me drafting up something to have you send to the governor to encourage him to sign Senate House Bill 2296.
Good with me.
I'm fine with that. It looks like it passed unanimously out of both House and the Senate with very few additions to it. So yeah, if it'll help, fine. I don't know that he's gonna read it, but
All right. That's all I had for you, Commissioner Netherland.
Okay, do you guys have anything for him?
Just another legislative topic. So it's currently being heard right now in House Appropriations, but Senate Bill 5780. This is the training opportunities for public defenders legislative bill that passed the Senate unanimously. I know Commissioner Trask, you were on the legislative steering call last Friday where they talked about this, but if feel like it's a good bill that that we should have Deb engage on. I know, like I said, it's getting heard right now on the House Appropriations Committee. I don't know if it's also, I don't know when it will be. Oh, it's also scheduled for executive session today. So if that moves and there's work to be done to get that off of the House floor and get concurrence with the Senate, then I think that would be a good one for Deb to put on her list for us.
yeah, I agree 100%. I looked at that one this morning and I know that there was a request for people to get a hold of the legislators to let them know that it's a bill we're watching.
Mhm.
So if others want to do that as well, that would be great.
So
Yeah,
that is one that we've been tracking and I've been working with Deb on and that was on our commissioner's priority list. So she has been, but I will definitely remind her that that's something we would like to see go through.
Do we have anything else for Mark?
There's also the one about the public defenders. Get that bill real quick. But this one I'm concerned about because it's another unfunded mandate. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'll send it to you, Mark.
Okay.
Okay, just a little note for the commissioners in regards to the Harstein Flats. You may already all know this, but in case you didn't, with the different communications we've been having with them individually as well, it has been taken off of the menu for the time period. So it is not in their general plan at the moment. They're going to be looking at it. I know I'll be having more visits with them. You might want to as well to figure out what we're doing. And just so you know, from my own personal, although I've always been in favor of continuing to harvest the crops that have been planted in order to pay for the bills that we all have and for our other elected organizations, school districts and stuff. There is one small section on there that I knew from years ago that it's not old growth because for it to be an old growth forest, that means the stuff on the ground is old as well, and it's a whole different animal than what people discuss. But there are some very, very, very old trees there, very good trees, and so there is some concerns or some opportunities to look at maybe other options such as trades for that one area that has that. But just keeping you up into the loop of what I'm working on a little bit on the side, but everything is going to come before us eventually to have discussions with us individually. Other than that, that's what I have. Does anybody have anything for their calendars they want to adjust and talk about?
I don't think it's a calendar adjustment, but I wanted to also just give a quick update on MACECOM and the executive director recruitment over there. So we had a good number of applicants. Prothman is running the recruitment on behalf of MACECOM, and they were by yesterday, we're going to narrow that down to the top 4 candidates and extend offers to interview them. Either I believe it'll be the first week in April where those interviews will take place. And so we'll get a better idea of what that looks like at our next board meeting. But I'll trending really positively to hopefully have somebody on board mid-spring to late spring, depending on where they're coming from and all that kind of stuff. So really helpful to have the ballot measure pass with the margin that it did, to be able to put this new executive director on a successful path to getting things moving at the organization. So positive stuff to report.
Thank you. Okay, any commissioner updates?
Just real quick, I think some of the things that I'd like to address going forward too is the criminal justice tax. And so maybe we can add that to a briefing and start discussing that as well.
Are you meaning that the county bring it forward for a tax increase?
Yeah, I'd like to bring it, have the topic brought forward to us so that we can decide if we want to do that or not.
A little, I guess, a little bit in addition to that. So I believe Sheriff Sperling had brought this up at the criminal justice working team meeting earlier this month, and so he might be the appropriate one to have a conversation with. I don't know where they are in those discussions or whatever, but it was something that was mentioned at that meeting and some others. So that's where I've heard there being some interest in it.
Right. Also, we're getting, yeah, I definitely want to continue that discussion. Also, maybe, I spoke with some commissioners that were at the Pack Mountain retreat last week, and about juvenile detention and a path forward on that. Also, kind of interesting that we have a meeting scheduled, so we're gonna talk more about that. And then I'll fill everybody else in. Also, shoot, there's something else I was going to say, and now it's gone.
Well, we'll be here same bat time next week. Is there anything further to come forward?
Yeah, one other quick item. So had a conversation with Dave Wyndham last week. Might be good for us to invite Choice in to come talk to us about the things that they're working on. It's our Medicaid group out of Thurston County, for those who might not be familiar. If commissioners are open to that, maybe Mark, you can coordinate with Dave about finding some briefing time here in the next few weeks.
I think commissioners are open to it. Commissioner Trask? Yep. Let's make it happen if we can, Mark. Anything further? If there's nothing, I will entertain a motion.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Great. See everybody later.
Bye, everybody.